I will be analyzing the last part of the story where Bruno and Smule die. I will first be talking about the plot. The scenes are pretty similar. When Bruno made his journey to Smule, he takes off all his clothes and puts on a pajama. One big difference is the way he gets at the other side of the fence. In the book, Bruno can climb underneath the fence because there is one part where the fence is not connected to the ground anymore. Smule lifts up the fence and Bruno can climb underneath. But in the movie, Bruno had to dig a hole under the fence because the fence was not disconnected to the ground, and the fence was even made of barbed wire. In the book and in the movie, Bruno realized the camp was not like he expected when they got to the camp, and he wants to go home. But he decides to stay because he promised Smule to help and find his father. Suddenly, an area of the camp in which Bruno and Smule were standing got surrounded by 10 soldiers. They went on a march, according to Smule, and Bruno knew it would be all right because it was something his father wanted them to do. In the book, they went into a hot room, and Bruno thought they were hiding for the rain, but this was not the case. A quote that shows the rest is, "And the room went very dark, and somehow, despite the chaos that followed, Bruno found that he was still holding Smule's hand in his own, and nothing in the world would have persuaded him to let go." In the last chapter, one soldier found the pile of clothes Bruno left at the fence, and Mother and Gretel had returned to Berlin because they thought Bruno may went there already. Father stayed it out with for another year, but never drew the conclusion Bruno crawled under the fence and was killed because of his actions. In the book, the end goes a lot different. When they went into the room after the marching, they had to take off their clothes because they were taking a so-called shower. Then they went into another room and the door was locked. The room went dark and Bruno and Smule died. While they were taking off their clothes, Father actually realized that Bruno might went to the gas chamber and tried to stop it. He was, however, too late. Mother and Gretel found the pile of clothes and also immediately realized their son and brother was dead. And so the movie ends. Now we'll be analyzing the characters. The main characters in this book, and especially in the scene I am analyzing, are Bruno and Smule. The author describes Bruno's looks in much detail. Earlier in the novel, Bruno's head was shaved because of an outbreak of lice. Apart from that, Bruno wears a heavy raincoat and a pair of boots. Underneath the raincoat, Bruno wears trousers, a shirt, and an overcoat. In this scene, we find out a lot about Bruno's thoughts. As he is walking through the camp, he realizes the camp is not how he expected at all. A quote that shows this is, "In his imagination, he had thought that all the huts were full of happy families, some of whom sat outside on rocking chairs in the evening and told stories about how things were so much better when they were children and they had respect for their elders, not like the children nowadays." We hear a lot more about Bruno's imagination, and the quote ends in, "Instead there were crowds of people sitting together in groups, staring at the ground, looking horribly sad. And they had all one thing in common. They were all terribly skinny, and their eyes were sunken, and they all had shaved heads." This part of the scene is really important because now we know Bruno had no idea what was actually going on behind the fence. This is because Bruno's father, the leader of the camp, did not tell his family about the camp, and therefore Bruno thinks everything behind the fence is the same as what it is on his side as the fence. In this particular scene, Smule's looks are not discussed. However, we know he wears striped pajamas, wears a striped cap, and is terribly skinny and a bit dirty. The mood. In the book, it was already raining in the morning. The description of Bruno's boots squelching in the mud exaggerates the sad mood. In the movie, on the other side, it is a beautiful day, and it only starts raining when they begin to march. This is to exaggerate the mood in the movie, because of the big turning point. The music. Before Bruno leaves the house, there is playing happy music, but as soon as Bruno starts his journey to Smule, the music becomes quite dramatic. When the marching starts, the music becomes even more dramatic. When the Jews are put into the gas chamber, it does not sound like music anymore. It is more a high sound. A very noticeable point is that the music suddenly stops, which means the Jews in the gas chamber died.